Before we proceed on different sampling methods or techniques, let us know the difference between population and sample. Population refers to an entire group of people, objects, events, or measurements. While sampling is a process of selecting a part of a population. For example, our population are all CEU senior high school teachers, and our sample are 25 CEU senior high school teachers. Let us proceed on different types of sampling methods. First is random sampling.
Random sampling or probability sampling is a type of sampling where each member of the population has an equal chance of being selected in a sample. It produces an unbiased sampling. One example is 10 papers are randomly picked out of the jar from a class section consisting of 50 students. Non-random sampling or non-probability sampling is a type of sampling where each member of the population does not get an equal chance of being selected in a sample. It produces a biased sampling. For example, a person might have a better chance of being chosen if they live close to the researcher or have access to a computer.
Under random sampling, there are 4 types of sampling. First is simple random sampling, second is stratified sampling, third is cluster sampling, and lastly is systematic sampling. Simple random sampling.
Simple random sampling is a subset of statistical population in which each member of the subset has an equal probability of being chosen. Simple random sampling is meant to be an unbiased representation of a group.
For example, in a classroom of 40 students from Section 1, the teacher wants to get 20 samples to participate in the activity by putting every student's name in a jar and then pick 10 papers randomly. Next is stratified random sampling.
In stratified simple random sampling, a proportion from strata of the population is selected using simple random sampling. For example, one might divide a sample of adults into the subgroups by age like 18 to 29, 30 to 39, 40 to 49, 50 to 59, and 60 and above. And randomly select 4 representatives from the given age ranges.
Cluster sampling. Cluster sampling is used in statistics when natural groups are present in a population. The whole population is subdivided into clusters or groups, and random samples are then collected from each group. Here's an example of cluster sampling. A researcher wants to survey academic performance of high school students in Manila. He can divide the entire population into different clusters, then the researcher selects a number of clusters depending on his research through simple or systematic random sampling.
Systematic sampling. Systematic sampling. In this type of sampling method, a researcher starts from a random point and selects every nth subject in the sampling frame. In this method, there is a danger of order bias. An example of systematic sampling. You wanted to select a random group of 20 student participants from a population of 100. Using systematic sampling, all the possible students must be placed in a list and you must select your starting point. Solve for the interval using the formula. Then select every 4th person on the list as your student participant. So the first student participant will be the 4th person, followed by the 8th, 12th, and so on, until you reach the 20 students needed.
There are 2 types of non-probability sampling: convenience sampling and purposive sampling. Let's talk about convenience sampling. Convenience sampling is a non-probability sampling technique where subjects are selected because of their convenient accessibility and proximity to the researchers. In all forms of research, it would be ideal to test the entire population, but in most cases, the population is just too large that it is impossible to include every individual. This is the reason why most researchers rely on sampling techniques like convenient sampling. Many researchers prefer this sampling technique because it is fast, inexpensive, easy, and the subjects are readily available. Let's have an example. Let's say a milk tea shop in a university wanted to know what milk tea flavor do customers like the most. Through a survey, wintermelon, taro, and Okinawa are the choices. The owner conducted the survey on the nearest department, which is the dentistry department. This is an example of a convenient sampling because the survey was conducted in a department near the shop, whereas it would be easier and faster for the owner than also surveying other departments. Next is purposive sampling.
The respondents of the study are chosen based on their knowledge of the information required by the research. Example, a researcher wants to study about how do students who are living in the dormitories budget their allowance every month or year.